Okay, so executive decision here. I'm gonna be calling off the bonus like Act 5.5 here with all the Ferrari 488s because it's really boring. Like, there's no redeeming it, and some of these characters are cool jabs at other people, other characters, and real people as well. I mean, we have world race characters, we have Ferrari F1 drivers. I was taking characters from here, 2 or 3, but not between 2 to 6 actually. 'Cause there's 6 characters I'd actually like consider moving over. One of which I basically already have. So instead we have Act 6, couples racing. I was gonna call it driving in the cars. It's a joke on Dancing with the Stars, but that doesn't fit. So because it's like a 24 character limit. Meaning this barely fits, that's 21. Anyway, so we have Team 458, Alex and Burns, Stunt Truck Challenge vets. Team R8, which is Silhouette and that, the kind of villains, I guess. We have Team Corvette, the Golden 2, or 2 of the Golden 4. Team Supra, the young protagonists, Danny and Bert. Team Crossbow, 2 Powerpuff Girls. Team Porsche, which is Madison and Chloe, who is the one that's been brought over from the little bonus episode. Team RX-7, which is Ryan and myself, the 2 commentators, and you got boost power. Yeah, and a slightly different, it's actually that's car, is Captain Falcon driving a Porsche 9 GT3. So, he won't be called Team 11 though, he's going to be called Team Falcon. So I'm actually going to just write that stuff down while the next game loads. 7 different teams and Captain Falcon. I don't know how much experience you have with F-Zero, but it's ironic because I've never played it, but I've seen so much footage of those games. And here we have the events. 15 events, 3 per episode, as is basically the usual at this point. You start at Monterey, which is where Laguna Seca is, Monterey, California. Silverstone, Nürburgring GP. We're not doing the full version this time. We're doing the version that doesn't take 10 minutes to go around. Mugello, Barcelona, or Catalunya, it's usually called. The track is called that. The Highlands Drift Course, I don't know what to expect from this track, so we'll just have to see at the end of episode 2. Not Imola, it's not Ebola. Black Hat County, which I just call New Mexico. Monza. Why did I become Japanese there? Red Bull Ring, Classic Silverstone, Classic Monza, Brands Hatch, Magione, and we end at Circuit of Spa. Oops, too many L1s. So anywho, I have such terrible pencils at my disposal. I have one that has good lead but no eraser, and another one that has no eraser but good lead. Or, no, a lead but good eraser. I'm just gonna use the pen for the team names and whatnot. Oh my god, ordered already? This is inconvenient. I write down the teams. Also, the one on the bottom is the one that chose the car. So Ryan chose the RX-7, Madison chose that 911, Bubbles chose her crossbow, Danny chose a Supra, Six Angels is back in his own Corvette, Silhouette took his R8, and Alex took the 458 because the F40 is not good enough, but the LaFerrari he has in Act 4 is way too good. So... I was supposed to indent that. Oops, okay, well. Let's squeeze this in the middle then. Technically, because she chose the vehicle, Bubbles is actually the leader right now of the Powerpuff Girls, which is, of course, not accurate, but... I will need to use the pencil for the, what's it called, the, point scoring, though. And Raceman back in this, P45. Alright, so I have to use the one with the eraser. If you'd like to donate a working pencil to me, I don't have a Patreon or anything, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But god darn it, I need a good pencil. Volume is too high. I turned it up a couple of notches earlier. I was trying to hear someone talking there. I have a bad microphone, so... Now the Powerpuff share the third row. So really... Captain Falcon is at a disadvantage because he's only one driver. However, like, what is it? I'm gonna give him 1 point for every position he's gained throughout the race. No, that'll be too overpowered. It'd be too much. Because he can go from like 14th to 2nd and score like 15 and then 12 for scoring or for moving up that many places, which would be more than most teams will be getting. So that'd be overpowered as hell. Plus, I expect him to win most of the races, so... These cars are mostly toned down. Like, they're more balanced around the Corvettes. Not around the, R8. So... It's a toned down set of act or tier 1 cars from the last act. Adding the Porsche 911 and the 458. How convenient, as you shove the car into the camera for me to explain that. Burns leading in a car that's not of his own choice. This is as close as I can get it to blue. For some reason this car didn't come in blue. I don't know why. Same with this car. Of course, Captain Falcon doesn't drive a purple machine, he drives a blue one, but there was no blue one for this car. There was only orange, purple, gray, or black, which are the dumbest set of colors I've seen on a car ever. And then not have blue or red. This is also blue, technically, but it's like really navy dark blue. Yes, navy dark blue. So I have the team names based off a car, and there's also the names based off of what they are as well. So we have Vern and Alex are the STC vets. Captain Falcon is Captain Falcon. The Powerpuff Girls. The Arc Villains, or the anti-heroes, or the anti-villains. Golden Tetrad. The young protagonists. Bert being 16, Danny being 17. The past classmates, and the commentators, being me and Ryan. It's funny because normally when I drive on this track, I'm actually really good. When I drive on it, not when my AI does, apparently. You can barely see 68 let alone pass it. Or him. Them. Danny's been passed by Madison. It's a new one. I feel like this dynamic will work out better than the plan dynamic. I was gonna say the tier dynamic, but that actually worked out pretty well until the last episode, where all the championships have already been clinched beforehand. But Falcon has not even gotten close to passing Burn, and he's still a second away. And these two are literally in their own class because everyone's being held up by Ryan Storm, who is like on pace to be like everyone's even because everyone's right here. Like, no one can get anywhere because Ryan is just creating a train of every car. Burn is pulling away from Falcon. Okay, Burn, you must like this car. Noted. Burn's been, like, more so for Lamborghini, and especially that Countach, but he might have found his new flavor of love. Flavor of love. I cannot words. Like, maybe he's a Ferrari guy now. Alex has converted him. I mean, Alex and Burn have some sort of fellowship for each other because they are, in quote, the most efficient drivers of our kind. It's basically Alex saying that Burn is the best alien driver, which there is no competition for that just yet. And he's the best human driver, which, well, there is competition for that. Bert, Danny, and, to a point myself, in this particular spin-off, not normally. Oh, that with the little bump on the governor. And Madison will just watch. Probably the better thing to do, yeah. Danny also seems to be making his own little train. Alex has passed the engine of the train. He just doesn't want to be part of the train anymore. You just become part of the next one, I guess, apparently, is what he wants. Actually, most of the second drivers are leading their groups right now. The only ones that aren't, Madison's beating her second driver. Danny and Bert are basically tying each other right now. Ryan's beating me, and Blossom is beating her sister. That sounds not right, but that's not what I meant by it, obviously. Both are following Ryan with a unit of intensity. Alright, Bubbles, you got it? Them's the brakes, I guess. Governor's still ahead of that. Burn is out of here. This also really helps in knowing if a car is actually unbalanced too. I should just do this more often. Two people in the same car, meaning that both would have to be dominated now. Okay, this thing isn't working. And if both are doing terrible, as in Supras, that's a sign that maybe they aren't so good. Maybe this car isn't so competitive. But there aren't many other cars that come in green. And even less so cars that are Japanese, and even fewer still cars that are competitive besides the Supra. Even though MST Suzuka, which sounds like Supra, is based more off an Eclipse than a Supra, there is no Mitsubishi on this game, so you have to, you know, deal with it. That's a massive line of cars. That's 8 cars right in a row. That's totally third on back, as Ryan is just being defensive. Blossom's gonna try something nuts. I can just feel it. She's close enough. This is a tight braking zone. She does absolutely nothing. Do Blossom and Ryan like each other or something? Well, not like that, but they seem to have some sort of untold amount of respect for each other from nothing. Because if that were Alex there, Blossom would have been like, "Give me that position." Especially now, when a hit could have also given Bubbles some extra points as well. The drag race, Alex passes Governor at the line. Man, that race wasn't longer. That was kind of interesting. That was quite the opening event there. Well, the Supra's score is 0. Powerpuffs have 22. Captain Falcon alone is at least third, probably. The 458s between Alex and Byrne have 27. Eric 7's only at 15 because I did not score. But Ryan held up literally the entire field and scored third place. So what in that are 12 points. 12, not 17. How? The vets. Governor only scoring the 6 points they have, and Madison with the singular point that the Porsches have, because Chloe finished in like 14th, so this is like inconceivably easier to keep track of. Well, good news, I have that song from yesterday out of my head. The not so great news, I just have a different song there instead. It's a better one though, it's from Need for Speed 3, not from 2006 Sailor Moon homage. It's a long story, but I don't really feel like it needs to be told here because we're doing racing with Hot Wheels characters and the like, not those characters. Well, I mean, I've walked into the track now, haven't I? Essentially, around 2006, some company in Japan decided to make a Sailor Moon homage / parody using the names of the Powerpuff Girls, and it actually works. But it's almost unrecognizable if it weren't for the characters being named the same thing. But the music they play in the final episode is like oddly catchy for half of it being in a different goddarn language, and was stuck in my head for most of last week. Also, see you later, Captain Falcon. We'll see you at round 3. And Alex fighting Danny. This is a classic battle from Act 1 here. Except for Alex is now in a much faster car. If I did have to pick a team to win, I would probably say the 458s, Alex and Bird, or the Crossbows will win. Third would probably go to Madison and Chloe, because I noticed that their cars are a lot faster than you could see in that race because they were stuck behind the entire train of people. As you can see, Madison is currently in 4th and about to try and battle these two over the 2nd position, which is basically the win because Captain Falcon's another time zone already. Yeah, this is what I was afraid of with that, more or less, in the last act. That starts in like 2nd or 3rd, and uses his faster car to just run away and finish ahead by like 25 seconds. But that's the one advantage Captain Falcon has. If he gets ahead, the SDP can't be used on him because it's only him. So the most he can score is 25 points. If a team can continuously get 3rd and 4th in a race somehow, they cannot lose to him. I thought about a point for fastest lap as well, but that'd only go to a handful of like 2 or 3 drivers throughout the entire race because only 2 or 3 drivers have cars capable of doing that. Or rather 2 or 3 teams, I suppose. Madison, Chloe, Byrne, Alex, and Captain Falcon are probably the only ones that can do that. Bubbles and Blossom maybe on the tighter courses like Brands Hatch, but other than that, it's mostly going to be like Alex and Captain Falcon, I feel like. So I'm not doing that. Blossom and Bubbles still next to each other, except this time in 12th and 13th instead of 4th and 5th. This track doesn't suit them as well, and Blossom just like attacks her sister and might get that as well. Even if she does, there's a straightaway. That's the grass, that doesn't help any. There's a significant clump of vehicles piling up behind Angels right now, with Burns, Silhouette, and distantly Chloe also involved. So the in-canon, as it were, explanation for why Madison chose to race in these. And this also is a similar thing for Chloe in a part too. They both just got their driver's licenses in real life. So they're putting those driving skills to the extreme test in Porsches. You don't really get much faster when it comes to like affordable supercars. But the other in-canon reason why Madison is here, you know, we haven't seen each other in 3 years, and this might be the only opportunity while we're stuck in different countries together. As opposed to, you know, living 800 miles away from me like she does normally. Now you can hang out and, you know, drive. Chloe, I haven't decided yet. Blossom has found her way into the points. Bubbles probably won't be far away from the same. She just has to pass Ryan, which she is currently doing. Wow. I think our cars are not suited here. Okay, let's say I move her in over my head. Really? 2 of my classmates are 3rd and 8th right now. This is me, not... This is me, or this is the car. It's not because of the talent of everyone else being out the window. I've won these races before in an F1 or F4 car, but that's beside the point. Oh, I'll stick and drink when I do that. Blossom is right there on Chloe now. Just has to actually pass her. It's weird, and I know in my head that Chloe to go with Madison isn't the best decision because they didn't really talk much in school. They weren't good friends like some other people. But I felt like between Madison Paulson and Chloe Johnson, those are generic enough to where even if there was a weirdo that tried looking up the names, you would never find the one that I'm referring to. So what, didn't like being passed? Blossom just, you know, says to go off himself. Bubbles is on her way for some support. Burn past Danny. I believe these two have some sort of history here. I'm not entirely sure what it is, though. There is another thing I kind of pondered, like in between episodes too. And this is kind of goes partially into why I have the additions here at all. One thing I noticed, and this isn't exactly, you know, his fault, but if anything, it's more mine, because I'm the one who is all about, well, I say that, it's actually me. I don't know who is more to blame for the existence of this storyline. Is it him for creating it, or me for basically stoking the fire the entire way through? I mean, I guess it's both of our faults, but I mean, it's not like it being someone's fault generally, you know, represents that it was a bad thing, and this has hardly been a bad thing. But just like sometimes I feel like in all the disarray of all these different characters, the commentator itself can lose its own personality. Why do you think shows like SpongeBob SquarePants and the Powerpuff Girls have the narrator as its own fleshed out character sometimes? Because otherwise, if they didn't do that, they wouldn't even notice it being there. And that's kind of one thing I try to avoid. I try and have these certain things in, like, my classmates, like characters from my favorite TV show, as a kind of open door into my own personality. As something of like a, you know, this is a personal reflection of me in certain ways. Like, this isn't the first time I've done this. I've wasted plenty of time watching AI named after people I know, or characters that I know, racing each other in random cars for no apparent reason other than because I can. And, that's also why I'm in the races, because I'm my own personality. I'm a part of the race as well, just in my own different way. And this even kind of shines through, you know, of course, my personality affects the different personalities that I have given to different drivers. In the actual, like, arc, that arc. Also, the last lap just kind of faded away into, like, mundanity, because, like, I know things happened. I'm not going to deny them. I didn't miss them either. I just never commented on them because I was too busy half explaining, half, like, not explaining, but also, like, trying to make a reason as to why I do what I do in these spin-off episodes. I try to keep, you know, most of them relevant to something that's happening on the channel. Like, of course, like, for Keyblade's channel, not mine. Like, you know, when Beat and Mortimer showed up, because a lot of the Let's Plays that Keyblade has done revolve around those games, Thrillville and Jet Set Radio. Blossom and Bubbles are my own idea, because that's my favorite TV show. And they have enough of a personality that differentiates to where they fit into a racing environment. Like, their personalities fit into a competitive spirit like this one. Alright, new points. So, finally, Danny claims points for Team Supra with 10. Captain Falcon is up to 43. I think he might actually be leading. Let's see here. That's a 7, I do believe. So now Byrne is at 37. Alex is... Oh my Jesus. Nope. I'm gonna go ahead and say Falcon is not currently winning. Remember when I said it's gonna be the 458s or the KTMs? Yeah, about that. Oh, Jesus. I've made an error, haven't I? The Vets, 7 points. Governor didn't score. Angels only got 10th. For 2 races, Alex and Byrne are leading points. 57 points. Falcon is second with 43. Then the Powerpuffs at 34 and third. Then it's the Porsches, Madison and Colby at 24. Then it's 15 points for, well, just Ryan Storm at this point. I haven't done anything. Then it's 10 points for Danny and Vert, all of which are Danny's. And last is Six Needles and the Governor, who apparently have the weakest link car. They still only have 7 points. That's back to what I was saying, though. And, of course, again, it's not Keyblade's fault that he, his own personality gets somewhat drowned out in the, you know, massive amount of different personalities doing the racing. And again, sometimes narrators just do that way. Sometimes narrators are only there to announce passage of time, location, and, like, you know, other things like that. Only shows like SpongeBob and Powerpuff Girls are outliers in that they flesh out the narrator to be something more than just someone that says 5 hours later or the next morning. I'm trying to like think of like known examples, but other than things like so much the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one. SpongeBob is like the first thing that comes to mind. If only copyright weren't a thing and Nintendo weren't the grandfathers of gaming, I would just try and put like F-Zero music over every time I have the camera on Captain Falcon. Just put the big blue music here, not the Big Boo, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, King Boo. Boss our bubbles together again. My god, I mean, it's accurate. And multiple different versions of the lore. This is accurate, whether it's mine or the actual show. They do work better when they're as a team. It's just like... this is getting ridiculous at this point. Alex is leading, Madison second, and Falcon in third. Bert is looking to prove the skeptics wrong, score some big points. That isn't a fan. Governor is hanging for the moment. Boston, please, I need points. Stop. And yeah, this is the one show. Of course, it's not my favorite show, but they have, like, the characters are different, and the characters have enough, like, depth and density, and they have this competitive, like, they all have this, like, these, like, competitive, more personalities, make them fit more into a style of a thing like this. Because my actual favorite show, the characters aren't as competitive, they aren't as rash, and they aren't as... The characters don't diversify in the same way. They're different, yes. But the characters for the other show, they all just kind of blend in as like this just harmonious thing of not really wanting to do anything to anyone that isn't, like, in any way sporting. And I mean, it's a pleasure to watch the show in that sense, because you don't have to see them arguing with each other ever, unlike you do with the Powerpuff Girls, where literally at least once an episode, one of the two of the three start arguing with each other, if not all three. Also, you have another train. Gee, you don't suppose... Oh, it's not actually. I think it's actually me making this one. Yep. Oops. Bubbles is trying to get to her sister, who has outperformed her on both levels already. This is Bubbles' car. Blossom is known for her Mercedes, and Blossom is just showing her up. Like, nope. Oh, okay. Hey, Chloe, how are you? Hi, Alex. Falcon still can't find his way to the lead here. Against Alex, it doesn't surprise me too much. However, Madison? Is that car really that good that Falcon can't get past it? Get past it, not get past it. Get away from me! Plus, you really think that was gonna work? There's not even a lane there to put your car. I don't care how small it is. I do like to think of this car here as the Powerpuff Girls car because it's small but effective, and it comes in like a lot of different colors. So I could, in theory, put all 3 girls in this car. Because it has red, blue, and green liveries, it'll work. Unlike most cars, which don't even usually come in more than one of those. Case in point, that Ferrari, in which that's blue, that burns in, but it doesn't really look like it half the time. I kind of wish the game had driver names above their heads. That would be nice. Bubbles is having some problems. Come on, you can't even get past Ryan Storm. Maddie, Alex, and Falcon are still pretty close to each other. But actually, I don't really think. I was going to say this fighting is letting Vert, that, and the governor get closer. No, I don't think it is. I don't think any of these 3 have the speed to get to these 3. That might, maybe, but he can't even get past Vert, so how the heck is he ever going to get past these 3, or even get to them to begin with? I've apparently been bumped at one point. Yeah, I knew it'd be Silhouette. This guy's just a pain in the butt. I would really like if Blossom would pass him, so I could stop getting rear-ended before it becomes a significant problem. Sooner, preferable over later, but, like, you know. Her job isn't protecting me, it's to protect an entire city that isn't one I live in. There's actually a city in Australia called Townsville, and I only wish that actually was a track that was put on racing games. Because it does have a racetrack. And I've seen maps of it and whatnot, but like, nothing really, relevant ever goes there. V8 Supercars uses that, but usually they don't get, much spotlight in the game anymore. Those days have passed since, 2004, when Toka Race Driver was a popular thing. Come on, Blossom, get around him, give me a break from getting rear-ended before it happens again and I get, completely ejected from the road. Hitting him will also work, just I'd rather him not be behind me the rest of the race. He's kind of a concerning character. Oh, Madison passed Alex. I didn't see that, and I'm kind of upset. Okay, well, can and will Alex retort? I'm sure he will, but can he? Or you know what I mean. He'll try, but will it even work if he tries? There is a very large gap between myself and Governor. 8 seconds, and that's probably more like 9.5 at this point, rather than 8.5. Also, we have another big train. This is getting insane now. Are the RX-7s really that underpowered that every time that They're ahead of someone that just created a massive choo-choo train of idiots trying to get to the lead. I hate to see this thing up front. The RX-7, that is. It's the final lap. Here we go. This probably won't end too well for me because I don't even have that good of brakes on the RX-7. Nope. See you later. Blossom and Chloe are fighting over, well, 1 point really. Whether you score 1 or 2 points. With Madison leading, I don't really know if Chloe needs to be too pressed for it. It's not worth throwing the car away. Or doing this and getting none. Which is precisely what just happened. Now you have to pass them again, or you're not getting anything at all. So... that looks still not very close. Captain Falcon... close, just not, you know... close enough to really do anything. Blossom and Chloe are still fighting, and now Byrne has taken 9th from both of them. And now Blossom will probably not be getting any points because we have the long straightaway where she is, like, not very effective in this car. And now Bubbles just passed her. Like, that's not really making anything better. One thing I did ponder, I decided against it. Oh, okay, yep, I did consider this as an idea. Originally, Captain Falcon was going to be called the Hunter to conceal who he was, but I figured that didn't really get anywhere as far as a mysterious plot line. When I called Mortimer the Weirdo in White, because, first of all, that was pretty quickly figured out. Plus, it was just easier to call them by what they're actually called, rather than call them some weird name like the Weirdo in White, or the Hunter. There, everyone's scored in just 3 races. Let's do points changes. Captain Falcon up to 58. It's the easiest one to do. Just look at Warriors on the list. The 458s are now at 77. The KTMs are at 32. The Minor 11s are now up to 50. The RX-8s are at 19. The Vets are at 15. Corvettes, not STC Vets. Danny and Vert are next to each other on the points at 22. And then finally we have the R8s at 30 points. You see, I said I couldn't use the STP after Falcon. It doesn't say I can't use it after on the 458 cars. Because they're leading at 77. Falcon is second at 58. That's the 911s at 50. And then it's the R8s, 35. The Crossbows at 32. Supers at 22. The ARC-7s at 19. And the Vets are last at 15. So this will do it for the first episode of Couples Racing. I took a screenshot by accident.